Boxers Trainers Channel. And today we're going to focus on giving Saul Canelo Alvarez his flowers, right? As a result of a distinguished career in boxing, right? Not saying that Saul Canelo is retiring, right? Because we don't want to hope that, right? Because there's a lot left in Saul Canelo Alvarez, based on the fact that Saul Canelo Alvarez has and will always be considered by me, especially, as one of the greatest Mexican boxers on the planet. You know what I mean? So today, like I said, we're gonna give Saul Canelo Alvarez his flowers, and this is a live chat. It's a phone chat, area code 870-571-3995 is the phone number. If anybody would like to call in and, you know what I'm saying, participate, give their perspective on Saul Canelo Alvarez, hey, feel free. You know what I mean? This is about boxing, man. This podcast especially is about making boxing the best it can be. You know what I mean? I mean, it isn't just about me coming on and giving you perspectives on different scenarios in boxing. No, this is about trying to do everything in my power to make boxing better, especially for those that lace up those gloves and get in the ring. You know what I mean? And like, it's my opinion that in past years, right, boxers in general haven't been getting their proper respect. You know what I mean? Whether it be the purse, whether it be being able to fight who they want to fight. You know what I mean? They want to fight a certain fighter, but they're not able to do it because politics kicks in, right? Look, man, this is what this podcast is about. One of the things this podcast is about, man, is about building bridges to perceive boxing in a good light and instead of just a political money making scheme, right? To fatten the capitalists, right? No, this podcast is about building bridges, helping the boxers and the fan base, right, to get what they're paying for instead of again fattening up frogs, which is the capitalists, to feed snakes, right? Which is the capitalist. You see what I'm saying? So let's be perfectly clear about that when it comes to this particular podcast and my ambitions, right? I want to be one of the best in the business, right? And yesterday, y'all made me really take notice to the fact that I am really good at this. You know what I mean? And, you know, when you do stuff like this, it's kind of hard to put your finger on whether you can do this or not, right? I mean, yesterday, I mean, after 2 years, right, coming on and not really feeling like I needed to feel in regards to being successful, right? Yesterday, y'all gave me my flowers, man. You know what I mean? And I'm humble and respectful for y'all, especially because without y'all, I couldn't do this. You know that without people coming to the chat, right, and engaging, right, I couldn't do this. So without y'all, there would be no me. You know what I mean? And I'm giving y'all's flowers for yesterday, especially, right? Because the numbers shot up dramatically for me for the first time since I've been doing this, and like I am totally grateful for that. Shout out to Bruce Boxing, Jazz, and more, right? Man, I'm still looking for that email, brother. You know what I'm saying? I need to have a contact with you so we can, you know what I'm saying, try to further the best interests of boxing. You know what I mean? What you do, and I can appreciate that. Um, and what I do, right? Maybe we can collaborate. I don't know. But shout out to Bruce, Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Check him out at his podcast, man. You know what I mean? But let's talk about today to give reverence to Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez, man, started his professional career in 2005 at the age of 15, making his professional debut on October 29th, 2005, with a TKO victory in Mexico. he began an amateur career around the age of 13, inspired by his oldest brother. And that's a hell of a thing, man. You know what I mean? To be inspired to get in the ring and to continue to get in the ring, right? To build yourself a reputation, as is the case with Saul Canelo, because that's exactly what he did, man. He made, man, Saul Canelo Alvarez literally made himself, right? You know what I mean? I mean, I know there's a lot of help on the sidelines, you know what I mean? Pushing him, promoting him, training him, and things of that sort, right? But that ain't enough when you striving to be great, right? And we can't leave that out when we deal with Saul Canelo Alvarez, man. You know, contrary to the fact that I love Terence Crawford, the fact of the matter is I love greatness. So if I love Terence Crawford because he's great, I damn sure love Saul Canelo Alvarez, because Saul Canelo Alvarez is great as well. You know what I mean? And I take nothing away from this loss yesterday uh, up under the guise of Terence Crawford. I take nothing away from it. In fact, like I said, this is what this podcast is about today, and that is to give Saul Canelo Alvarez his flowers, man. You know what I mean? So I didn't really know that Canelo had captured 11 different titles, 11 different world titles in 4 different weight divisions, right? I mean, I was under the impression that he only had like four different weight categories where he had won and became champion. But over the course of his career, that man had 11 different title wins. You know what I mean? So when we talk about greatness, right? I mean, who else has did that? Help me out with that if you can. Who else has did that? 11 different world titles. Saul Canelo was victorious in 4 different weight classes. I mean, me, because I'm really the curious type, I am going to do the due diligence on that, and I'm going to get back with you on that, because that is very interesting to know. That in and of itself might be historical in nature, right? And that's what we do, man. That's what I do. I chase greatness. You know what I mean? I chase people that I think and believe, because of what I see, their boxing skills and their boxing talent, that chases greatness. You know what I mean? Terence Crawford, as is the case with Saul Canelo Alvarez, are chasing greatness, right? And I don't care whether you pro Canelo Alvarez or pro Bud Crawford. At the end of the day, both of them cats are chasing greatness. You know what I mean? And contrary to the fact of whether Saul Canelo Alvarez has 3 losses to his demise, that ain't enough to suggest that Saul Canelo Alvarez is one of the best Mexican boxers that ever laced up a pair of gloves and stepped in that ring. You know what I mean? So I need to establish boxers with those type of credentials, because it reminds me of myself when I was coming up, man. You know what I mean? I didn't want to hear nothing about losing, right? And my work ethic was up to that standard where whatever I did in the ring, right, I was never unsuccessful, because I believed that I could do what I was doing, and that was to box, right? Again, my philosophy was always float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And let me share this with y'all, man. After that fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the mishaps for Saul Canelo Alvarez, right? You know what I mean? That's that science of work in the way that I think, right? The missteps as far as Saul Canelo Alvarez is concerned, and how I view how he could have did better or perhaps won, right? I would love to share that with Saul Canelo Alvarez or his team, man, because I think Saul Canelo Alvarez was under the impression that certain things that he would normally have been able to do, which was move his feet or whatever the case may be, his body is saying no. I know I have come up with a different rationale, right? And a logical rationale, right, in regards to being having Saul Canelo in a position, right, where he was more susceptible, right, to stand closer to Terence Crawford, right? There is an ideal in the thought process that I don't want to share it, but Saul Canelo Alvarez could have did better, man. You know what I mean? Given his age, given the fact that your body does wear out, and and I can attest to that because in a certain age in my career, right, my legs started going out. You know what I mean? Certain things that I found normal. You know what I mean? Like jumping in rope and shadow boxing, like sticking and moving. What I mean when I say shadow box, right? I mean sticking and moving, right? Like constantly moving but engaging, right? The Muhammad Ali philosophy, right? That was my philosophy, right? So there's a lot of things that I think Saul Canelo Alvarez could do at his age to become just as effective as he should have been when he fought Terence Crawford. That's my highly educated boxing opinion, right? And I say that from past experience and knowing how Saul Canelo Alvarez feels in regards to how his body is metamorphosing, is changing. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, you know what I mean. I don't want to say like you know what I'm saying? People are trying to drag out of Saul Canelo Alvarez that it's time to retire. Now, man, the cat is only 34 years old, man. Bud Crawford will be 38 this year, man. Let me say this. And the reason for why Bud Crawford is able to do the things he do at almost 38 versus Saul Canelo Alvarez at almost 35, right, is that Terence Bud Crawford doesn't allow his body to dictate what he can and what he can't do because he does the things that he needs to do in the gym, right? To be able to talk to his body and tell his body, man, I ain't doing that. No, man, I ain't doing that. And this is what I'm going to do, right? In the work regimen, right? In finding a method to that madness, right? To be able to contrast with my mind and my body that makes me overcome whatever it is that I need to. I mean, you saw that yesterday with Terence Crawford, where he was, man, that dude, this ain't about Terence Crawford, it's about Saul Canelo Alvarez, right? But that's a fact. So Crawford looked like a 22-year-old. You know what I mean? His body didn't look like it had deteriorated at all. He looked graceful, right? And I'm saying that I believe that given certain circumstances in Saul Canelo Alvarez's regiment, right, that he can bridge that gap. You know what I mean? As far as his movement is concerned, that will allow him to be more damn effective. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that. I told you yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again today, right? The way that I think as a trainer, right? I mean, it's just like Bud Crawford said yesterday that this is God's plan. Man, look, I've been doing this all my life, running my mouth, right? But it's to a degree where that it's almost scientific. The analysis that I come up with are almost scientific. Man, I don't want to say genius, but hell, you know what I'm saying? The things that I see, most trainers don't see. You know, look, Bill Haney and I oftentimes had discussion about Devin the Dream, right? And I still see certain things that he don't see. Or if he sees it, he's not doing anything about it, and makes it a bad representation of young Devin, man. And I ain't got nothing against Bill, but these are facts. You know what I mean? I was watching the tape the other night on Devin Haney, right, when he was fighting George Cambosa Jr., right? And I'm not going to get off into the particulars, but it's the same issue that I saw then, I still see it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you end up putting yourself in a position where you lose because you don't critique yourself. You gotta everything is critiquable in boxing, man. Especially in boxing if you're trying to be great. You know what I mean? You got to critique yourself. Every time you get your ass in the ring, you got to critique yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to make yourself understand that something is wrong with this, man. You know what I mean? I mean, you draw your ability from seeing other boxers, right? You draw your ability by looking in the mirror when you shadow boxing, right? And making a distinction whether that is right or wrong, right? And when you make that decision, you you work on it. You work on it. You work on it until you cure it. You know what I'm saying? So let's be perfectly clear when I tell you, you know what I'm saying, that I got a gift, man. I got a gift when it comes to chunking these things, man. You know what I'm saying? I got a gift. You know what I mean? But I understand the 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 system, right? The system is designed to keep me out, right? Based on the fact, who knows who is Jack Daniels, the boxer trainer? Who is that? I ain't never heard of him. That's the way we think. You know what I mean? But I mean, and I ain't mad. But I'm just saying that before, I just hope before the creator calls me that I'll be able to, you know what I'm saying, come to the table and let y'all see some greatness, man. Look, boxing is an art. It ain't just getting in there and again, I gotta read. This is, like I said, this is about Saul Alvarez, but I gotta revert to greatness. You know what I'm saying? In order to make my point, right? Terence Crawford distributed an artistic position of greatness against Saul Canelo Alvarez. September 13th, 2025, Las Vegas, Nevada, right? He displayed a artistic act of greatness. Woo! Anyway, no, we're not gonna do that. This is about Saul Canelo Alvarez. And Saul Canelo Alvarez's years of greatness has somewhat declined. You know what? I don't even want to say decline. I want to say that I think that in certain stages of our career or his career, right, you have to have change. You have to put somebody in there that sees differently than what is happening with the team that's representing at present, right? Nothing. His trainer is one of the greatest in the world, in my opinion, right? But again, I have had a conversation with Bud Crawford about this. You know what I'm saying? And like the issue came up about Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is one of those great boxers all told, right? But there you go. But he has a sweeping left hook. A left hook isn't sweeping. A left hook is just a hook. Bam. Bam. Right? Bam. You know what I'm saying? It's just a turn of the body off that right foot, right? To give you power when you make the connection, right? To knock that person out, right? It's not sweeping, right? It's just a hook. It's exactly what it said it is. Hook. You know what I mean? It ain't, you know what I mean? No. And we was debating about Shakur's. Well, we actually wasn't debating. I was saying he was saying Shakur Stevenson was great. This is via a text message. I haven't. Well, I have had conversation with him, but Terence Crawford is a joker, right? So when I do make contact with him, right, he's never he's never Terence Crawford. He is somebody else. You know what I mean? And it just got to the point where I said, man, don't you stop bull crapping, Terence, Bud, you know what I'm saying? So the point of the matter, I have conversations with him, and we came up about how great Shakur Stevenson, and I'm not taking that away, Shakur Stevenson is great. The point I'm trying to make is there's always room for critique in a boxer's greatness, right? You know what I'm saying? I told you yesterday, in order to be as close to greatness as you can get, right? You got to be critiqued. You got to be critiqued. And let me say this. One trainer is really not enough. And you know what I'm saying? The lead trainer is good. You got to, but you also have to have somebody to critique him. If you searching for greatness, you got to have somebody to critique him. You see what I'm saying? So I said that to say this, man. Like, so Canelo Alvarez, man, I got something that I would love to share with Eddie Reynoso, right? I would love to share this tidbit when it comes to your movement. You know what I'm saying? You know, and what I got in my thought process, right, hey, look, man, it was okay. Let me say, I'm gonna say this: in your movement, you was doing too much. In your movement, in your footwork, you was doing too much. You were doing too much. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I can't go off into details, but I would love to have access to Eddie Reynoso. You know what I'm saying? Because Saul Canelo Alvarez has still got a lot to get to the sport, man. And me, for one, I want to see that. Man, look here, man. In this chat, I'm loving y'all. Bruce Gas, Jazz, and more. Man, y'all need to start using this phone, man. Use the phone. Let's have conversation. Let's be great. You know what I mean? Because this is what this podcast is also about, being great, right? And it's about promoting boxers to be great. Critique every mistake, win or lose, right? Bud Crawford got some mistakes too. I've told him, I've said that to him too. You know what I'm saying? We all can do better. As human beings, especially, we can do better. You know what I'm saying? But in this regard, we talking about boxing, right? We talking about, and man, look, I got so much content. Y'all delivering to me so much content, positive, beautiful content, right? That most podcasters, you know what I'm saying, they don't really get off into the dynamics, right? Ooh, the dynamics of boxing, right? I mean, it's a wonderful thing when you're versatile, in your belief system. Not just about boxing, but about life. You know, life in general. Man, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, why y'all out there? And it's a bunch of y'all out there, and I'm loving y'all for doing this, man. Right? If you choose to step out, don't step out without hitting that subscription button and helping this old man get to where he needs to be. Because this old man is searching for greatness. You heard me? That being said, man, I am good today. I'm loving y'all. Share this video with your friends and relatives. Next session, we're going to be talking a little about these politics and this crazy stuff that's going on in the world, right? And look, I don't condone killing, but I also don't condone people that spew hatred. We got to get past that, because I don't give a damn what color you is. We all go to the bathroom. We all do exactly the same thing, right? Only difference there might be is you might have more money than me. And that ain't nothing. You see what I'm saying? That ain't nothing. But at the end of the day or at night, we all the same, man. That being said, hit that subscription button, hit the like button, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. And let me know what y'all think about how much y'all enjoy being on this podcast. Shout out to Andrew Dooley. Hey, Dooley, Andre Dooley, right? Now, that step is what I'm talking about, right? And you're absolutely right. He did lose a step when after he fought Charlo. But here's the deal. That step that he lost, what I'm trying to say is, I have a remedy for that step that he lost. You know, and I'm serious. Hey, look, man, I ain't get a dime, you know what I'm saying, just coming on and just talking to y'all about some bull crap, right? I have critiqued that step. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Absolutely, brother. But there's a remedy to any madness, right? You know what I'm saying? You are the proprietor of your soul, of your body. You know what I mean? You don't let your body tell you what you can't do, right? You tell your body what you wanted to do, and you make it do that, right? And there is always a method to the madness when it comes to, I don't give a damn what it is, right? In life, right? You have to be in control of your, and I keep telling y'all that, man. Life is not difficult. It's only difficult when we allow it to become difficult. You know what I mean? But here's the deal. God, the Creator, gave us all the ability to overcome. I don't care what obstacle occurs. The Creator gave you the ability to overcome it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Saul Canelo Alvarez, man. So it's the same thing. You know, if I, at 75 years old, was offered enough paper, right, to get back in boxing shape, I honestly believe that I can do it. I know I could. I know I could. You know what I mean? Because that's what I believe. My belief system is in tune, right, with my God-given ability to change things. And that's what boxing is about with me. I'm gonna look at, man. Eddie Reynoso, holla, man. That being said, man, I love y'all. Man, look here, man. I am so motivated. I am inspired. That being the case, man, I got to go. Later.